Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anubha Rohatgi, and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi commits India's support for collective endeavours to improve global health governance. Gives message of One Earth, One Health to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister seeks support of G7 nations for TRIPS waiver on COVID-related technologies at WTO. To address the two sessions of G7 summit today. GST rates on COVID items slashed, exemptions and GST reductions extended till September. India crosses a major landmark of administering over 25 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine so far. Over 80,000 COVID cases recorded nationwide in the last 24 hours, lowest in last 71 days. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.26%. Delhi government announces more relaxations in lockdown restrictions, markets to reopen from tomorrow without odd-even criteria. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh approves budgetary support of 498 crore rupees for defence innovation for next 5 years. Education Ministry releases 7,622 crore rupees to states and union territories under Samagra Shiksha scheme. And in French Open tennis, Novak Djokovic to take on Stefanos Tsitsipas in the title clash of men's singles this evening. As many states are relaxing lockdown norms, we advise our listeners not to lower their guard as the COVID-19 pandemic remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow the 4 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene, and get vaccinated. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 23978 046 and 1075. And now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for global unity, leadership and solidarity to prevent future pandemics and emphasized the special responsibility of democratic and transparent societies. Participating in the first outreach session of the G7 summit via virtual mode, Mr. Modi said the meeting should send out the message of One Earth, One Health for the whole world. He highlighted India's whole-of-society approach to fight the pandemic, synergizing the efforts of all levels of the government, industry and civil society. The Prime Minister also explained India's successful use of open-source digital tools for contact tracing and vaccine management. He conveyed India's willingness to share its experience and expertise with other developing countries. Prime Minister Modi committed India's support for collective endeavours to improve global health governance. He sought the G7's support for the proposal moved at the WTO by India and South Africa for a TRIPS waiver on COVID-related technologies. Sources said Australia and others came out strongly in support of this. The session, titled Building Back Stronger Health, focused on global recovery from the coronavirus pandemic and on strengthening resilience against future pandemics. The Prime Minister will participate in the final day of the G7 summit today and will speak in 2 sessions. The G7 leaders have launched a new global infrastructure initiative, Build Back Better World, or the B3W, to help developing nations counter China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. In a statement at their summit in the English county of Cornwall, the G7 leaders said they will offer a values-driven, high-standard and transparent partnership. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson is hosting the 3-day gathering at the seaside resort of Carbis Bay. US President Joe Biden said he wants the US-backed B3W plan to be a higher quality alternative to a similar Chinese program. A statement from the White House said President Biden and G7 partners agreed to launch the bold new Global Infrastructure Initiative, B3W. The statement added that the initiative, led by major democracies, will help narrow the over $40 trillion infrastructure need in the developing world, which has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The B3W will collectively catalyze hundreds of billions of dollars of infrastructure investment for low and middle income countries in the coming years. According to a senior US official, the G7 is trying to find a coherent response to the growing assertiveness of China. Leaders of the G7 want to use their gathering to show the world that the richest democracies can offer an alternative to China's growing clout.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver tomorrow a keynote address virtually at the United Nations during the high-level dialogue on desertification, land degradation and drought. The Permanent Mission of India to the UN has said that the Prime Minister will be speaking at the opening segment in his capacity as the President of the 14th session of the Conference of Parties of United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD. It said that President of the General Assembly, Deputy Secretary General, President of Economic and Social Council and Executive Secretary of the UNCCD will also speak on this occasion. The high-level dialogue will assess the progress made in the fight against desertification, land degradation and drought. The GST Council has largely accepted the recommendations of the group of ministers constituted to look into extending the ambit of GST concessions on COVID treatment-related medical devices and drugs. Briefing media in New Delhi on Saturday, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman informed that the Council has agreed to completely exempt antifungal drug amphotericin B and antiviral drug tocilizumab from any kind of GST. The minister added that GST on another critical drug, remdesivir, used in treatment of COVID patients has been reduced from 12% to 5%. Additionally, GST on anticoagulant, heparin and any other specified drug recommended by the Health Ministry for COVID-related treatment will stand reduced at 5%. Ms. Sitharaman said that the GST Council agreed to reduce GST from existing 12% to 5% on medical-grade oxygen, oxygen generation equipment and related medical devices in order to extend relief to the people. In addition to this, COVID testing kits, pulse oximeters, temperature checking equipment and hand sanitizers would also now cost cheaper as GST on them has been reduced to 5%.
The period up to August was the recommendation. After discussion in the Council, that has been extended to September. So this will be valid till September 30th. And based on the advice and also from the states the input, whether that period has to be further extended will be taken as a call nearer the time, and the GIC will take the responsibility of eliciting the opinions, taking the political leadership's inputs and meeting to take a final word on whether that extension should be furthered after September.
India has crossed a major landmark with the administration of more than 25 crore COVID vaccine doses to the beneficiaries so far. The Health Ministry has informed that more than 31,67,000 vaccine doses were given on the 148th day of India's vaccination program yesterday. Out of this, nearly 28,11,000 beneficiaries were vaccinated the first dose, whereas around 33,56,000 beneficiaries received their second dose of the vaccine. The cumulative figure of vaccine doses administered under the largest vaccination drive in the country now stands at over 25 crore 28 lakh. The Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry has said that more than 1 crore 53 lakh vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories to be administered to the beneficiaries. The ministry has said the central government has provided over 26 crore 64 lakh COVID vaccine doses to states and union territories so far. The ministry has assured that over 4 lakh 48,000 vaccine doses will be provided to states and union territories within the next 3 days.
The nation continues to march strongly on its path of COVID recovery with gradual decrease in total number of active cases. For the 6th consecutive day today, the number of new daily cases remained below 1 lakh figure. In the past 24 hours, 80,834 new cases were recorded nationwide, which is the lowest in the last 71 days. In the same time span, over 1,32,000 COVID patients recovered from the disease. The recoveries outnumbered the daily new cases for the 31st consecutive day today. The Health Ministry added that so far, over 2 crore 80 lakh people have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the country. With this, the recovery rate in the country has further improved to 95.26%. The ministry added that 3,303 COVID-related deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative toll to 3,70,384. The number of cumulative COVID-19 testing in the country has so far surpassed the figure of 37 crore 81 lakh, with a special focus on the 5-point principle of test, track, treat, isolate and vaccinate. The apex medical research body, Indian Council of Medical Research (ICMR), has informed that in the past 24 hours, more than 19 lakh samples were tested across the country.
The Union government is continuously engaged in augmenting the health infrastructure amid the second wave of COVID pandemic with the active support of states and industry partners. Various projects have been initiated by the central government to increase medical oxygen supply and build a robust healthcare ecosystem in the country. Project Extension Hospitals and Project O2 for India are such unique initiatives. More from our correspondent.
The country has witnessed huge demand for medical oxygen and healthcare infrastructure during the second wave of COVID pandemic. In view of the future demands of medical oxygen and the hospitals, the government is working to create necessary healthcare ecosystem in the country. Under the Project O2 for India, efforts are being made to augment the country's ability to meet the growing demand for medical oxygen. A national consortium of oxygen is enabling national level supply of critical raw materials, setting up of small oxygen plants, manufacturing compressors, concentrators and ventilators. Under the Project Extension Hospitals, innovative modular hospitals are being built as an extension of hospital infrastructure. One such Medicap hospitals enables building a 100-bedded extension facility in 3 weeks duration. These hospitals are designed with a dedicated zone of intensive care units. These hospitals have durability of around 25 years and they can also be shifted in less than a week. These rapidly deployable hospitals will help in creating health infrastructure in rural and smaller towns. The first batch of 100-bedded hospitals is being commissioned at Bilaspur in Chhattisgarh, Amravati, Pune, Jalna in Maharashtra and Mohali in Punjab. Bhupendra Singh, AIR News, Delhi.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal today announced more relaxations in lockdown restrictions as part of reopening the national capital in a phased manner. As per the new directions, all markets can now reopen from tomorrow without following the odd-even criteria. Addressing a press conference, the Chief Minister said restaurants will be allowed to open at 50% seating capacity from tomorrow. All market complexes and malls will now be completely open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
School, college, educational institutions, coaching institutions बंद रहेंगे. Social, political, sports, entertainment, academic, कल्चरल, रिलीजियस, फेस्टिवल, इससे रिलेटेड जितनी गैदरिंग्स हैं, कोई भी गैदरिंग अलाउड नहीं होगी. स्विमिंग पूल, स्टेडियम, स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स, सिनेमा, थिएटर, मल्टीप्लेक्स, एंटरटेनमेंट पार्क्स, अम्यूजमेंट पार्क्स, वाटर पार्क्स बंद रहेंगे. बिजनेस टू बिजनेस एग्जीबिशंस, स्पाज, जिम्नेजियम, योगा इंस्टीट्यूट्स और पब्लिक पार्क्स और गार्डन्स बंद रहेंगे. प्राइवेट ऑफिसेज जितने हैं वो 50% कैपेसिटी पे काम करेंगे. कल से पूरी तरह से सारी दुकानें खुल सकती हैं और जो रेस्टोरेंट हैं वो 50% सीटिंग कैपेसिटी पे काम करेंगे.
Union Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan inaugurated a 200-bed oxygenated temporary COVID hospital near Bharat Oman Refinery at Bina in Sagar district of the state yesterday. They also laid the foundation stone of oxygen bottling and refilling plant which will cater to the oxygen requirement of surrounding districts' hospitals. A 300-bed temporary COVID center at Budni in Sihor district was also inaugurated on the occasion. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
Union Petroleum Minister Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan said that Madhya Pradesh has succeeded in controlling the corona. The model of crisis management group of Madhya Pradesh is exemplary. Chief Minister Mr. Chauhan said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Government of India have been very cooperative in the construction of the temporary COVID hospital, which was built in a short time. The construction of oxygen bottling and refilling station has been started in collaboration with the Bina refinery. Along with Sagar, the availability of oxygen will be ensured in other districts as well. COVID Care Center Budni also has hospital-like facilities. This center will be of 300 beds, in which 100 beds will be oxygen-rich. The center has a separate 50-bed ward for children. Pooja Pivardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Though Maharashtra is one of the states worst affected by COVID-19, many villages in the state have been able to control its spread by proper management and effective measures. One of the examples is of Bidal and Gondwale Budruk villages of Satara district of Maharashtra. While the Satara district has been reporting more than 1,000 cases daily, these villages have been successful in controlling the spread of disease. More from our correspondent.
Bidal is a village in Imman Taluka with a population of about 7,000. With village administration and villagers initiative, various Seva Mandals have come forward to set up Corona care centers in the village, providing treatment to the infected people and also taking effective measures to control the spread of the disease. One such Mandal, Vikas Seva Mandal, has constructed 50-bed Corona care center in the village. 1,000 Corona test kits have been received from Zilla Parishad. Through this kit, Asha workers are going from house to house and taking Corona test samples. Patients who are admitted to Corona Care Center are being treated by doctors and ASHA workers. Patients are provided with a nutritious diet for fast recovery. The center also offers yoga as well as other exercises to the patients every morning and evening, which has shown a positive effect on their mental and physical health. The 3 centers in Vidal village are receiving financial and other assistance from Mumbai, Pune and other districts. Devapriya Bhattacharjee, AIR News, Mumbai.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi commits India's support for collective endeavours to improve global health governance, gives message of One Earth and One Health to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister seeks support of G7 nations for TRIPS waiver on COVID-related technologies at WTO to address the 2 sessions of G7 summit today. GST rates on COVID items slashed, exemptions and GST reductions extended till September. India crosses a major landmark of administering over 25 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine so far. Over 80,000 COVID cases recorded nationwide in the last 24 hours, lowest in last 71 days. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.26%. Delhi government announces more relaxations in lockdown restrictions, markets to reopen from tomorrow without odd-even criteria. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh approves budgetary support of 498 crore rupees for defence innovation for next 5 years. Education Ministry releases 7,622 crore rupees to states and union territories under Samagra Shiksha scheme. And in French Open tennis, Novak Djokovic to take on Stefanos Tsitsipas in title clash of men's singles this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. The centre has been disseminating awareness of 6 national helpline numbers created for the benefit of citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic. The child helpline number is 1098. For senior citizens of Delhi, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, the helpline number is 14567. The helpline number of National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, NIMHANS, for psychological support is 0804 611 0007. Ayush COVID-19 counselling helpline number is 14443 and MyGov WhatsApp help desk number is 9013 151515.
Welcome back to the Midday News. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has approved the budgetary support of 498 crore rupees to Innovations for Defence Excellence IDEX, Defence Innovation Organisation DIO, in the next 5 years. The budgetary support will provide a big boost to the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The IDEX DIO has the primary objective of self-reliance and indigenization in defence and aerospace sector of the country. The creation of the IDEX framework and establishment of the DIO by the Department of Defence Production, DDP, is aimed at creating an ecosystem to foster innovation and technology development in defence and aerospace. The scheme, with budgetary support of 498 crore rupees for the next 5 years, is aimed at providing financial support to nearly 300 startups, MSMEs and individual innovators and 20 partner incubators under the DIO framework. It will support increased awareness in the Indian innovation ecosystem about defense needs. Our correspondent reports that the DDP will release funds to DIO for setting up and managing the IDEX network in the form of partner incubators. Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has said that an amount of 7,622 crore rupees has been released to states and union territories. The amount was released under the Samagra Shiksha scheme for the continuity of various educational initiatives. In a series of tweets, Mr. Nishank has said this money will be used for providing free textbooks and uniforms to the students. The minister added that the money will also be utilized for teachers' salaries, training, vocational education and digital initiatives.
The Bhumi Pujan ceremony for Sri Venkateshwara Swami Temple was held in Jammu today. The ceremony was performed by Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha along with Y.V. Subbareddy, the chairman of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam TTD, which manages the temple. Union Ministers G. Kishan Reddy and Dr. Jitendra Singh took part in the auspicious event. The Bhumi Pujan ceremony was performed at the proposed site of the temple at Majeen area on Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. The UT administration has allotted over 496 canals of land on lease for 40 years to Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam TTD for building a temple and allied infrastructure.
Congress leader and leader of opposition in Uttarakhand Assembly, Dr. Indira Hridesh, passed away due to cardiac arrest in Delhi today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the demise of the Congress leader. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Dr. Indira was at the forefront of several community service efforts and she made a mark as an effective legislator.
Switzerland heads to the polls today in a batch of referendums which could see the country become only the second in the world to ban artificial pesticides. The initiative aims to prohibit the use of artificial pesticides within 10 years. Globally, only Bhutan has banned the chemicals. Laws to combat terrorism, cut carbon dioxide emissions and provide emergency COVID-19 funding also face binding votes under the Swiss system of direct democracy. If approved, the proposals would amend the constitution while the government drafts implementation laws for parliament to address. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's 12-year reign is set to end as country's parliament, Knesset, will vote on a new government today. The crunch Knesset vote will either end Netanyahu's tenure or return Israel to a stalemate leading to a fifth general election in less than 2 years. An 8-party alliance ranging from the right-wing Jewish nationalist Yamina party to Arab lawmakers was formed early this month by centrist politician Yair Lapid and centrist and ultra-nationalist Naftali Bennett.
In tennis, unseeded Czech Barbora Krejcikova has won her maiden Grand Slam women's singles title, beating Russian Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in the French Open final. Today, world number 1 Novak Djokovic will clash with Greek fifth seed Stefanos Tsitsipas in the men's singles final this evening. Serbian Djokovic reached his 6th French Open final after ending Rafael Nadal's 4-year reign on Friday. India's Mirabai Chanu, the 2017 world champion in weightlifting, has qualified for the Tokyo Olympics in women's 49 kilogram category. The International Weightlifting Federation announced that Mirabai has qualified on the basis of her world ranking points. The 26-year-old lifter from Manipur is ranked second in the women's 49 kilogram category. As per rules of the IWF, top 8 lifters in each of the 14 weight categories, including 7 in the women's group, are eligible to compete in Tokyo Games. With 40 days to go for the Tokyo Olympic Games, All India Radio today takes a look at India's best woman shuttler, PV Sandhu.
Born on July 5, 1995 in Hyderabad, Sindhu is one of the most accomplished athletes from India, having won medals at almost all the major badminton tournaments, including an unprecedented silver at the 2016 Rio edition. The Rio success made her the first female athlete from India to win an Olympic silver medal. Currently world number 7, Sindhu is also the reigning world champion after winning the 2019 World Championships title as the 2020 edition was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
As athletes, we don't have any problem in facing whether if it's training, going to different places and train there. So everything, whatever we ask, I think the tops and SAI and also the associations and governments have been providing us. So even in these tough times, we are able to train, practice. I think it's because of them. And they've been motivating us and supporting us because there's no much time for Olympics. The support that they've been giving us is really good and we are happy with that.
In the 2016 Rio final, Sindhu lost to Spain's Carolina Marin in 3 games. But with Marin now out with injury, Sindhu would be eyeing no less than the top podium finish. But her biggest threat would be women's singles world number 1, Tai Tzu Ying from Chinese Taipei.
The Regional Meteorological Center Mumbai has said that the cyclonic circulation in Arabian Sea has weakened and shifted towards Karnataka, due to which warnings issued for Mumbai have been lowered. Now red alert has been issued for Raigad and Ratnagiri for today and tomorrow. IMD has warned that thunderstorms with lightning, gusty winds and extremely heavy rains are expected at isolated places. Monsoon has entered Bihar a day ahead of its scheduled onset, bringing widespread showers in several districts of the state. Patna Meteorological Center Director Vivek Sinha said northeastern districts like Purnia, Katihar, Kishanganj, Araria, Saharsa, Supol and Madhepura received the first bout of southwest monsoon showers. Patna also witnessed 31 mm rains. According to Met Department, monsoon will cover the entire state in the next 24 hours.
And now let us take a look at today's weather. Jammu has partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Minimum temperature was 21 degrees Celsius while maximum will go up to 37 degrees. Srinagar also has partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 28 degrees. Leh has a generally cloudy sky. Temperature is hovering between 8 degrees and 24 degrees Celsius. Gilgit also has generally cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was 17 degrees and maximum will be around 37 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, temperature is shifting from 20 degrees minimum to 37 degrees Celsius maximum. Today is the birth anniversary of renowned songwriter Prem Dhawan. He's among those few lyricists who wrote simple lyrics with a positive message. Born on this day in 1923 in Ambala, Dhawan wrote many famous songs for music directors like Anil Biswas, Salil Chaudhary, Madan Mohan and Chitragupt. This famous patriotic song by Prem Dhawan is timeless. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi commits India's support for collective endeavours to improve global health governance. Gives message of One Earth, One Health to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister seeks support of G7 nations for TRIPS waiver on COVID-related technologies at WTO. To address the 2 sessions of G7 summit today. GST rates on COVID items slashed. Exemptions and GST reductions are extended till September. India crosses a major landmark of administering over 25 crore doses of COVID-19 vaccine so far. Over 80,000 COVID cases recorded nationwide in the past 24 hours, lowest in last 71 days. National COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 95.26%. Delhi government announces more relaxations in lockdown restrictions. Markets to reopen from tomorrow without odd-even criteria. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh approves budgetary support of 498 crore rupees for defence innovation for next 5 years. Education Ministry releases 7,622 crore rupees to states and union territories under Samagra Shiksha scheme. And in French Open tennis, Novak Djokovic to take on Stefanos Tsitsipas in title clash of men's singles this evening. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com. And with that, we end the Midday News.